I actually do agree with that, because for me, moving to Japan was an evolution for music for me. Because there's the American way of thinking in underground hip hop. And then I got to Japan and I didn't start performing in clubs. I was at an open mic in a cafe. So I had to do what was good to the people's ears, which still was my own material, but find a way so that people would listen to it more and make the voice and the words,
you have to make it accessible,
what they needed to hear. Because some people will make what you need to hear just not the way you want to hear it. So for the 4 years I've been here, my skill has been crafted into what people need to hear, but in a way they'll be willing to listen to it. And some artists are starting to do that, but like we said, they're babies right now.
I definitely agree, and I've tried on occasion. If you're trying to rhyme something of a heavy lyrical content, it can be very difficult in Japanese because the way the language is set up. Yet, if you're going for lack of a better reference, like a Lil Wayne or even like a Flavor Flav, just like I'm just rhyming to be rhyming, it is so easy in Japanese. Because every word in Japanese ends with a vowel or letter N. So just actually rhyming just to rhyme, you can go on all day, just rhyming words. It's really, really easy in that regard.
I mean, just to, I mean, I think about like the first time I ever heard Japanese in hip hop was on De La Soul Balloon Mind State, when they're just counting. They're just doing, and it sounds incredible to people who don't know what he's saying. Right. It sounds incredible. I mean, I think I rewound that part like 150 times the first time I heard that, because you were like,
you were listening to it.
What did he say?
Yeah. Yes, I was listening to it on tape. Like, no more.
He said,
right?
Wow.
Probably, you know, but like, you know, I write lyrics too, but I mean, I'm a producer and a musician first, and like sometimes expressing yourself doesn't have to be in lyrical content. I think that's something that's been degraded in hip hop. People put a loop on and just like it's all lyrical content, and it you know, sometimes it just has to sound good. Sometimes it just has to be catchy and fun and like not so much about all the words that you're saying.
Me, I'm one of the people with like heavy lyrical content.
That's great, but as a musician, and you know more about music, so you can do both. You can do both, but I think it's, you know, like I think that's a problem that's happened in all hip hop, not just. I mean, I don't know about Japanese hip hop that well, but in most hip hop, the music side of it has gotten incredibly downgraded, and like that's what it. What's up?
I will agree with that.
I mean, you know, to throw a loop on, that's not where it came. I mean, you know, that's not where it came from. I mean, when NWA came out, it was the most progressive music. I mean, Drake, you know, his music told a story whether there was lyrics on it or not. That's what that's what really has to change about it.
That's true.
All right, so I have a question for all the Japanese people. Is it sometimes difficult to understand Japanese raps?
Yeah.
Like, so for...
Sometimes yes, don't make sense.
Yeah.
But the words come at the flow, as a flow. So, yeah, it's like wordplay.
Yeah, it's complete wordplay in a lot of instances where it's been cut to where people are like, what?
Yeah.
But the same things happen in English, right?
Yeah.
It's like cookie.
Just to reiterate, if you're going for just like Steve was saying, just like, hey, I'm gonna have fun with it, just have some wordplay on some Lil Wayne type stuff. It's Japanese is quite easy to do that with. But again, that may require sacrificing content, which may not be a bad thing, but that's just the trade-off you get.
And one day someone's gonna come out and like rock everybody's head off, do Eminem on some Japanese, and it's gonna, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I would.
That's it.
I'm waiting for that cat.
And if you could do it, do it.
Please. But see, I've been working on the language portion of Japanese to be able to get to the point of rapping in Japanese. I've had friends that are like, don't, it's not working.
Yeah, but that's
Like Japanese people, they're like, don't bother.
Well, but I mean, it's going to be the time when the Japanese, some Japanese kid or some American kid who learns Japanese or whatever is going to decide that it's time to do something different with it, and like going to come with different types of rhythmic structures and different types of flows and different types of rhymes and different types of ideas. That it's going to be something that's going to blow you away. I mean, you know, the inner rhymes and all like the stuff that we do in American hip hop, like that's not the only way.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's going to happen. Someone's going to be so creative with it and do something so different that they're going to create a different type of music out of it. And that's when it's going to really be something.
Yeah, for me, like listening to music overall, it's a conversation. So everybody, even if you're doing party music, you're trying to relay a message. And some people only see it as lyrics. They don't see it as talking to people. So that's where a lot of breakdown in Japanese hip hop and hip hop overall falls off, because people say, I'm spitting bars instead of I'm talking to somebody and holding a conversation. So it makes it difficult for them to think in terms of what do I want to say to you, as opposed to how am I going to say it to you. So they lose it in, this verse isn't right because it doesn't cadence correctly, instead of, am I saying it well enough to you for you to grab it?
I would like to revisit Matthew's question and get more comments from some of our Japanese participants. Just listening to rap music in Japanese, how's that experience? Is it easy, difficult? Do you understand what's being said? Okay, like teaching English.
Well, I can speak with when I drag my girlfriend out to my shows, you know, I'll be the only English-speaking person, so she knows what I'm saying. And then I'd be like, what is he saying? She's like, I don't know. What is he saying? I don't know. What is he saying? I don't. Like, she doesn't understand. She's native. She's Japanese. But she doesn't understand what they're saying.
No, that's not just in hip-hop. I've been on a street live with somebody, and it's like, what are they singing about? It's like, you're Japanese. You should be able to understand them. I wasn't listening.
All right.
Yeah, I think part of it, though, truth be told, is it's not. I mean, just because I take somebody out, if I'm in the States, right, and if you're not trained, if you're going what people are saying, you just won't be able to understand what they're saying if they're rapping. Now, it depends on the cadence, the speed, because I've done the same thing with Japanese acquaintances. Like, do you hear what he said? What did he say? Like they're speaking too fast, or they're just speaking about concepts that, if you don't listen to rap music, you're just not going to catch. So that's part of the situation sometimes.
All right, so like back in the 90s, most rappers were rapping fast, and they gradually got to the point to Lil Wayne, it's like 2 words per minute, like real slow. But in Japan, I noticed they never slow down. Like they just, if you slow down, people understand.
That's because the meaning starts degrading once you start slowing down. Because when you start listening to somebody speak slower and slower, you stop listening. Because if I speak this way, the entire discussion, everyone's going to be asleep. And I speak slower and slower and slower. Everyone wants to grab a pillow. So slowing down doesn't keep people's attention. The slower you go, the information can still be there, and people will not hear it the same as if somebody's speaking too fast, because there's a cutoff point. There's that middle ground where it's like, okay, I get it. And then there's that slow where you're like, I'm at a lecture.
I don't want to abruptly change. You can take LeGrand's question, and then I'll have a question.